How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Dreamality, and today I'm sharing my list for my favorite movies of 2019. I didn't see every single movie last year, but of the movies I saw, these are my favorites. This is just my list, so make sure to share your list down below. Once again, this won't be in any specific order until the final three. Alright, with that said, let's have some fun. I had to add uncut gems to this list. Adam Sandler delivers a captivating performance. He's so entertaining in this movie, and what a change of pace this is for him compared to his other stuff. The story is about a gambling addict who digs himself into a deeper and deeper hole. I never felt comfortable watching Uncut Gems because for me, it was an almost non-stop adrenaline rush. The final act had me at the edge of my seat. This is from the Safdie brothers, who also directed Good Time, a film I also really enjoyed. Their films have a unique style to them. The music is not only present, but overpowering, and it's very synth-heavy with some chanting thrown into the mix. I can definitely see the music being the most polarizing element of their films because it feels so different than what you would expect. It could break the immersion for some, but I find it complements the overall cool vibe the movie delivers. Knives Out is a whodunit, but with a pretty unique structure for a film like this. I really enjoy whodunits. You know, someone dies and you have to figure out who did it, how it happened, the mystery, and there haven't been many good ones lately. The cast is incredible. There are so many good people in this, but I'm especially happy to see Toni Collette again, as I think she is pretty underrated, but such a fantastic actress. The biggest reason why this movie makes my list, though, is because it's so much fun. I had such a great time watching this. And it really is as simple as that. It's very fun. It's not an intense movie, it's funny, and it's a fun mystery. I'm happy to hear a sequel has already been greenlit because I want more. I just saw John Wick Chapter 3 the other night, and I gotta throw it on this list, not because I'm afraid of what John Wick would do to me if I didn't. I mean, come on, don't be ridiculous. John Wick, he's a good fighter, but he's not Dreamality good. Anyway, John Wick is one of the coolest characters ever, period. Everyone knows his name, he's a legend. I love this franchise. These are some of the best action movies in recent years. What I love so much about the action is the stunt work, the choreography. The action isn't just a bunch of effects and explosions. They also do some really cool things with animals in this one, which I thought was pretty awesome. If you have an appreciation for stunt work and choreography, you'll enjoy this movie on another level. There were a handful of times I started to laugh because of how awesome it was. Once again, there's some cool world building going on. Keanu Reeves is the man. I really like the music, and like the other ones, I like the choice of setting for some of these fights. They pick these places, these abstract rooms that look really cool. I also like how there's a layer of emotion thrown into the mix, though this one feels less emotionally driven than the other two. Overall, I don't think the third is as good as the first two, but I still had a lot of fun watching it, am happy to support this franchise, and I look forward to more. I'm surprised by how much I enjoyed Little Woman. 10 years ago, my younger self would have been so bored watching something like this, but when I left the theater after seeing Little Woman, I thought, wow, that was actually really good. It's a story about a family divided being brought back together and jumps between the past and present day. I really liked the time jumps and thought they kept the film from getting stale, and also found the relationship between the family members interesting. I also like the contrast between the past and present visually. It was a happier time back then, so there's a lot more color and is overall more bright compared to the present day color palette. I was surprised with some of the twists. I cared about the characters. It was definitely a heartwarming movie. I thought it was pretty funny, and a couple of scenes had me tear up a bit. What can I say? I'm a sucker for family themes. I really enjoyed the music and have listened to it a couple of times out of the movie. Oh, and the acting was fantastic. You can tell everyone was having a good time. A lot of people will talk about Saoirse Ronan because she's amazing. But I gotta give a shout out to Florence Pugh, who once again delivers an incredible performance. She delivered 3 last year, all very different roles. She's got range, and if she's in a movie, I'm watching it. SHAZAM! So much fun to say. SHAZAM. SHAZAM is my favorite film in the DC cinematic universe. I'm a fan of a lot of what this movie does. Like the family themes, it's a very heartwarming movie sometimes, and a couple of the scenes moved me. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of horror, so I really liked the creepy monster element and was surprised how spooky this film got sometimes. I thought the movie was really funny. Probably the most I laughed last year in the theater came from SHAZAM. Zachary Levi was so good in it. Overall, this is a very fun movie with a lot of heart. The Irishman, a Martin Scorsese film. What else needs to be said? This guy is one of the best filmmakers ever. The Irishman has to do with organized crime, the mob, and Jimmy Hoffa. If you're into crime films, this is a must-watch. There's a lot of shock value, but it's grounded. Scorsese once again does an incredible job of making death feel concrete. It's not dramatic, it's to the point and hits the viewer hard. Granted, it hits the victim harder. It's not all violence though, it's actually mostly a bunch of talking, but because everything is so flawless from the acting to the writing to the shot structure, it's captivating. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is so good in this movie. Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci. It's a whopping 3 hours and a half, but I really enjoyed it. The Lighthouse is one of the most unique films I've ever seen in theaters. I think one look at this film and you can already tell it's very different than a lot of what's being released these days. This is about two sailors working a lighthouse on a very small island. Slowly, they descend into madness. Robert Pattinson has come a long way from his Twilight days. He's a great actor, and Wilhelm Dafoe, however you want to pronounce it, was so entertaining in this one. Something this director does very well is capturing the voice of the characters. They feel very authentic. I also love how he manages to immerse you in the environment, like you can feel the pounding rain from the storm in the movie. It's a strange film, but it's a memorable one. Okay, it's time for my top 3. These are my 3 favorite films of the year. There's so much I love about Marriage Story. This, like the remaining movies on this list, was still on my mind days after watching it. It's a story about a couple going through a divorce while still trying to remain friends and have a great relationship with their kid. This film shows a lot of technical stuff involved in a divorce that I had no idea about, so I found that aspect interesting. I loved the movie's opening. I love how deceptively simple the film is as a whole. I find it inspiring and kind of genius. It feels very grounded, like these are real people. There's hardly any music in it too, which makes it feel more real in a way. Even in the most dramatic scenes, the movie is never overly dramatic. This is a movie carried by writing and really good acting. Adam Driver, Scarlett Johansson, they're both awesome in this. I cared about the characters and I rooted for them, which was hard sometimes because they do things that make them both imperfect, but those same things make them more human. It's not a super depressing film. Yeah, it's sad sometimes, but it's also funny, interesting, entertaining, and heartwarming. Lastly, I really like how the film ended. I thought that was pretty clever. This one is on Netflix and I can't recommend it enough. Parasite is one of the strangest films I saw last year. I don't want to spoil any key details about the plot because even the trailers were pretty cryptic, so here's what I'll say. Going in, I didn't know anything about this movie except that it's a foreign film. It's actually the first foreign film I've ever seen in theaters, so the bar has been set. It's beautifully shot. I thought it was hilarious, especially since I didn't know what the story was about, but you get a feeling of its direction after a certain point. It's very clever and very fun. This movie is actually many things. It was an adrenaline rush sometimes. I sat up like, what is going on here? It made me feel uneasy, became unpredictable, which is absolutely awesome. There is a bit of shock value. It's effective but not overbearing. The setting and the message were on point. Because of the setting, I got a view into a world and culture I don't know much about. I really cared about these characters. The final shot is perfect. The name of the film is perfect. The acting is so good. I was smiling ear to ear throughout much of this movie because it is absolutely awesome seeing a film this good. I would consider Parasite the best movie I saw in 2019. But the number 1 spot goes to my favorite movie of 2019. And my favorite movie of 2019 is... What a shocking turn of events. Yes, I love Joker. It blew me away. I've seen it 3 times already. I saw it twice in theaters when it came out, and I just rented it the other day. I still think it's phenomenal. When I first heard a Joker standalone film was being made, I thought it was going to be decent at best. And there's so much superhero stuff being made these days that, even though I'm a huge fan of the genre, a lot of it can feel generic. Joker set out to be something different. They took a risk telling this kind of story, one in which we see the transformation of Arthur Fleck becoming the Joker. Joker isn't even in most of this movie, but that's fine, because this movie has a lot to say, and it cares about building its characters and plot. There's a lot of really cool storytelling devices used here. For example, I loved the connection between the opening and the closing of the film. I made a review of Joker a couple months ago, so if you want more details, you can check that out. But overall, I love the music, the costume design, the pacing was perfect, every scene warranted its place. The way the film was shot, it can feel like a Scorsese work. Joaquin Phoenix absolutely killed this performance. I would say the best of the year. It's one of the most controversial films of last year, but I'm happy the creators stuck to their vision. It's a work of art, it's phenomenal, it's my favorite movie of 2019. That's it, the video is over. 2019 was an incredible year for movies. I saw so much I enjoyed that I didn't talk about here today, but those films are still great and I still appreciate them. There are many movies from last year I still have to watch and I look forward to seeing them. I just love movies and there's no shortage. Here's a little bonus bit. My favorite series of 2019 is Chernobyl. It's on HBO and I think it's a must watch. It's absolutely insane and extremely well made. Okay, you have heard my thoughts. Now it's time to share yours. What were your favorite films of 2019? Let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you for watching.